Hello and welcome. If it is your first time here, hello again. If you are returning, welcome back. Today, I am doing something a little different. I am reacting to a YouTube video. So let's get into it.
Ending the continued production of clones following the end of the Clone Wars is often cited as one of its biggest mistakes by many fans, while their production cost is frequently the reason raised for their decommissioning. The real motive has more to do with control.
I actually don't care why he didn't. Not making sentient beings to just go fight and die for you is a win in my book, okay? I don't root for the Empire, but that is a win, period.
During the early stages of the Empire, he still requires the support of the Senate.
Did he though? Would the senators realistically have cared about anything Palpatine did as long as he didn't come after them? Aside from our good 4 senators, the rest of them suck.
And more crucially, the common people of the galaxy. As a result, Palpatine must still maintain his image of being a man of the people who seeks to both protect and provide for them. The best way to achieve that is to give the people the perception of power and self-realization.
Palpatine is a good politician, okay? And you have to be savvy and cunning to be able to deal with them. And the Jedis are not that. This is the other reason why they shouldn't have been a part of the Republic.
For the first time in centuries, the everyday citizens of the galaxy will enforce the laws of their government themselves. The idea is to get the people to willingly put the chains of Palpatine's rule upon themselves. On top of that, those that joined the new ranks of the Empire received opportunities that were never available from the Republic.
When it comes to the Republic, the war would have happened anyways. I think Palpatine and Dooku just pushed the timeline. Because what is the point of being a part of the Republic if they're not going to help me? I can just take my chances with the criminals.
This instilled a sense of gratitude in countless recruits, as well as giving them a personal stake in the matter.
Which is smart. You want people to be invested. The planets should have sent people to be a part of the Republic Army, especially if you were not a part of the neutral planets. And if you don't want to do that, then you shouldn't have a war. Negotiate and call it a day.
Basic services like clean water and consistent electricity being put aside in favor of spending for the clone army. Eliminating such an unpopular spending measure and diverting said funds towards the people was yet another tactic of getting their support.
I wonder if Palpatine was pulling strings behind the scene to make sure they didn't do anything to help their people. Because taking care of your peoples, making sure they're good so that they don't turn on you should be basic knowledge.
Other factors such as the rise of human supremacy also played a role in this too.
That never made sense to me. Were the humans ever oppressed by the other species? Or y'all just suck? Like, what is the problem here?
The replacement of clones with human recruits was done to ensure that there could be no major war or even the possibility of a galactic-scale army being formed against him.
Smart. I hope and want to believe the Empire just let the clones be after they were pretty much booted out. I hope they did not kill them or hunting them down or anything terrible.
Now, while Palpatine's rule ultimately did fail, it is unlikely that maintaining or even expanding the clone army would have made much of a difference in preventing his fall, if his other future decisions remained the same.
On the outer rim planet of Iriadu was a family of 3 who made their living as air-scrubbing farmers.
What is air scrubbing? Like, do you clean the air? Like for reusing on like a ship or something?
Recycling air and turning it back into oxygen. The family of 3 consisted of a father and 2 kids, with the mother of the family having had long passed away shortly after giving birth to the daughter.
It's never good when you start a story with a dead parent, okay? It does not go well. Not even in Disney.
A group of rebels were discovered trying to steal some of the machines used for air scrubbing from the farm. The father, of course, tried to prevent this.
Look, man. I don't care if you steal from the Empire. They'll be fine. And I will certainly not put myself in danger to protect some hardware from the Empire. I don't care enough. You should have stayed out of it.
During the shootout, one of the cables snapped and caused one of the large air scrubbing machines to fall right into the family's home. The 12-year-old boy ran back into the house, only to discover that his younger sister Z, who had been in her bed, was crushed to death right before his eyes.
I'm going to have an issue if we lose the entire family by the end of this. That will be too much.
It was at that very moment he knew what he wanted to do when he grew up, to kill rebels.
It wasn't their fault. I mean, it is, but it's not their fault. I wonder if some people in the galaxy did look at the rebels as the villains in this, because maybe they got hurt in some way by the rebels.
A few years later, he was old enough to apply to the junior academy in the nearest city of his family's farm.
The rebels messed up, but the people you should be blaming is the Empire.
The boy's father was strictly against this, not
Oh,
wishing to
thank
lose
God.
another one of his children.
Working for the Empire is one thing, actually joining them and being a stormtrooper is a different thing. This is a terrible mistake on your part.
One night, he snuck out of the farm and ran off to the junior academy and applied to it all on his own, leaving behind only a note.
Is he gonna kill his dad? Or die because he doesn't want to kill his dad? Because this is the only way it'll be sadder.
The boy recalled the junior academy to be a complete breeze, and that he and his peers were treated extraordinarily well. Although he had successfully made his first steps into becoming a stormtrooper, the boy's father did not attend his graduation, or even bother to show up on the day he was supposed to leave for the adult academy.
Your father is correct. This is a gigantic mistake on your part, and you're gonna come to regret it, I hope.
Really hated having to leave without even saying goodbye to him, but he put his emotions aside and got on the transport. Upon arriving to the Second Imperial Academy, its atmosphere was completely different from what 462 had experienced at the Junior Academy.
You're not a child anymore, sir. They're trying to turn you into a soldier.
The instructor he and his squad were assigned to was an old clone trooper named Lasser.
So did they keep some of the clones to train people in the Empire? And wouldn't that be hypocritical on your part, Palpatine?
The retired clone held disdain toward regular human recruits, viewing them as house pets that were attempting to train to become wild, dangerous beasts.
That is so sad. I hate the fact that the clones always think of themselves only as soldiers when they are more than that. And this is the Republic's fault. They've been brainwashed into thinking all they're good for is fighting and dying. And that is tragic.
Lasser called out 462 for being the shortest cadet among the class, and from that day on, Lasser went out of his way to make 462's life a living hell. The clone instructor had the other cadets in the squad beat up 462 every
What?
single morning.
Why? Did he just hate him? Or does he know his family? Something? What's the beef?
It did harden his resolve to pushing through and graduating as a stormtrooper. A few years later, and there were only a few weeks left before graduation from the academy. During this time, 462 and his squad were forced to run a 5K in their full armor on the hottest day of the year.
Where are the trainers? Are y'all not going to say anything? This is ridiculous.
After they finished, Lasser gave a toast to their accomplishment. The clone instructor crushed his wine glass with his feet, and then ordered 462 to put all the glass shards in his boots,
What?
and to then have
Why?
him put them back on before another race.
Like, what is happening right now? It has to be personal. I don't know why you hate this child for no reason. It is weird and cruel, and you're being a psychopath.
462 was able to run about 500 meters before falling unconscious. He later woke up in a medical bay.
Again, where are the other people? Where are your other trainers?
A nurse explained to him that a surgery was performed to reconstruct his feet.
Were these types of shenanigans normal in the academy? Were they like abusing the cadets?
He couldn't believe he was actually slated for graduation. He was finally going to become a stormtrooper. He then thought of how proud his sister would have been.
She wouldn't have been. She would have hated this. She would have told you you made a mistake.
462's first assignment was within the fashion district in the capital city of Iriadu. He was a bit disappointed in his assignment, as he had hoped to be doing a bit more, like being in the front lines and actually confronting enemy fighters.
If I was a part of the Empire, which I wouldn't be, or the Republic, I would want like a clerical job somewhere far, far away. Even like when it comes to Star Trek, it would be cool to be in space. But again, I want like clerical stuff. I don't want to be on the Enterprise. I'm not trying to die, okay?
Report arrived that the Empire needed more troops on the planet Lothal. 462 was among the very first to volunteer. When he arrived, he noticed the rough living conditions the people were in. One of his first missions was to destroy and burn down an entire village out in the far lands that was suspected of helping the local rebels.
Is that what you wanted to do? Would your sister be proud of this? Is this the vengeance that you wanted, sir?
To him, it was like exterminating the diseased animals of a farm,
What?
as well as any animal that was near the sick, just to be safe.
Wow, sir, you really have been brainwashed. I was hoping that you would die trying to save your dad, but I guess you might be killing your father.
Although he had convinced himself that destroying the small village was going to save more lives down the road, he still couldn't get the screams of the children out of his head.
Yes, good. You should remember those people forever, you psycho. This is why your father didn't want you to join the Empire.
One day, 462 and his squad were ordered to retrieve a crate of stolen kyber crystals. Lucky for them, they ended up finding it abandoned, but still on orders of finding the rebel thieves. The captain of 462's squad went into the town the thieves were suspected of hiding in, and grabbed a random Rhodian shopkeeper. The captain then placed his blaster on the Rhodian's head and announced that he was going to pull the trigger on the count of 3
Unnecessary.
unless the original thieves of the kyber crystal crate gave themselves up.
How do you know they're even there or not?
So he shot the Rhodian, and then the captain grabbed another random person and started the counter again.
This is why the people of the galaxy hate y'all. If you weren't going around murdering randos for no reason, your empire would have lasted.
This time, when he reached the count of 3, a random man from a nearby building took out a blaster and aimed it at the stormtrooper captain. But before he could fire his blaster, he was instead quickly shot on the spot by 462. A little girl came from behind and tried to get him up. It was his daughter, and upon realizing her father had died, she just fell on top of him crying.
What happened to the stormtroopers after the war? Were they allowed to be a part of the New Republic and be in the army or not?
And thus chaos erupted, as some of the crowd began to attack the other stormtroopers. As he started to provide cover for his comrades, 462 was then shot right in his chest plate. It was the little girl, and he
Oh
knew
my
exactly what
gosh.
she was feeling at that very moment, as she was just like him all those years ago. 462 then began to smile, which confused both the little girl and even himself,
At
as
least
he didn't really
you
know
try
why
to
he was
kill him.
happy right before his death. Perhaps it was because he knew the little girl was going to grow up wanting to kill Imperials now, and that he was the one who gave her that fiery purpose, and for that he felt satisfied. In the end, 462 eventually succumbed to his injuries, with his final thoughts being that he was finally going to join his younger sister in whatever afterlife there was.
This was sad, but I don't feel too bad for him. It's tragic that he ended up in this situation and he died the way that he died because of his grief, but he could have left. After the first murder that you had to commit, you could have left. I actually feel more for his dad than him. He lost both of his kids, and that's tragic. I was a little hesitant to do this because I didn't think I would have a lot to say, but it turned out nice. It was interesting and I did have things to say. Both of the videos are by the Lore Master and they are linked below. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope you have a good one and you'll see me later. Bye.